All right, welcome back to GenXCollect. You're gonna have to bear with me just a little bit. We're gonna do something kind of different today. I am working with a new setup, so we'll see if we can kind of get through this without any interruptions. Today we are talking about, I don't know about you, I hate it when I say so I'm trying not to. But anyways, today we are talking collectibles. Now, I was introduced to these little guys here via my brother. He had found them and he was thinking about like different, he's kind of thinks about everything. But they did make for nice little collectibles things. And what I have here, is you may have seen some of my previous videos, is these wacky packages things. You've actually got a nice little mixture here, and this is what originally I had used them for. I do have some things that I had from when I was a kid. For example, this Spider-Man button, which I just dropped on the floor. But you can see just like a little standard button, and then I found a couple of little things from when I was younger, that these little mutant and training things. I think they might be a little too big, but with that being said, these things do come in different shapes and sizes. I do have some longer ones coming. You can get them in circles and all kinds of shapes and colors and blah blah blah. I just went ahead and got some basic black ones to start off with. But if you're looking for something to store away your collectibles in a somewhat safe, I mean, it's going to kind of protect it from dust and things like that. And then I use a standard card box that I store everything in, so it might be worth checking out. But I figured I'd go ahead and show them to you real quick, so you can kind of see they're designed. They're called floating jewelry cases, and they're actually designed to put like miscellaneous things inside of them, which this kind of works in that exact same thing. When you do buy them, they actually come with a like a display case thing that you can sit them in. And what it happens is you can have them sitting up and like this. I never planned on doing that, so the set that I bought did not come with them. I know I said that they come with them, but you have to buy the particular sets that have them. I planned on storing them away, out of the light and all that good stuff, just for collectible stuff. However, you can get those if that's something you want to do. Put them up in your glass cases and things like that. And then you would just put them at an angle instead of the way that I do them. But you can kind of see these things just kind of push lock, and it's got this plastic cellophane that kind of wraps around the item. And what it does is it allows it to kind of free float here. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get my big head out of the way. But you get it on here kind of how you want it, and then you close it down. And then I will show you that, these things are actually reusable. You can kind of see some of the ones I have are kind of warped a little bit, and that's because I had things in them. But you can take a hairdryer and actually reset the plastic on these, which is kind of nice. And I will show that here. I'll tell you what, I'll show that right now. All right, so as you can see here, we got kind of a little bit of a hot mess going on, but that is what it is. We're going to take a look at some of these. You'll see with the plastic on these, when you have a item in them, they kind of retain the shape of that item, and the plastic in them gets a little wonky. You kind of see it there a little bit. But according to the company, as I was saying, you can actually use a standard hairdryer. And what that will do is allow you to kind of reset the plastic in it so that you can reuse it for other things. And if it's something that you're not too worried about damaging with heat, you can probably go ahead and use it on the item once it's in there to make it tighter around it. I know with a lot of collectible stuff, you're not going to want to use heat anyways. But if you got something that isn't going to take any real damage from it, it might not be too bad of an idea. But let's go ahead and try this out. I'm going to go ahead and mute it so you don't have to listen to the hairdryer on the microphone. But we'll go ahead and see if we can get one of these things reset on screen for you. And here we go. All right, well, as you can see, it did do pretty well. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but I imagine once you get something else in there, it's going to, you're not going to even be able to tell the difference. I did notice though that some items, mind you, these had erasers in them, kind of leave a little bit behind on the plastic. So maybe get like a Q-tip or a cotton ball or something and just kind of clean those out. But other than that, yeah, you can kind of see it there from the Wolfman shape. But yeah, other than that, I mean, they're pretty great. I mean, these things are so cheap too. So that was resetting. So I'll let, well, me get back to it. Thanks. All right, and we're back. So as you can see, these things will kind of, you know, allow it to just flow. As I have them up here, you can have your different items and, you know, so forth and so on. I'm not sure about these bigger ones. These ones I might have to put in a bigger thing, but I figured I would give it a try, and we'll try it with you. I got these little buttons in a comic book shop with a buddy of mine when I was probably about 13. Let's see, will that... There we go. Yeah, see, look, that worked out just nicely. And they're actually, these things are relatively cheap. I mean, I think I got these on Temu, like, I don't know, 30 of them for like 20 bucks or something like that. But it's a nice little way to display them. Let's see, we'll try another one here. It's the same one, but I like to keep all my stuff safe anyways, as I'm sure many of you out there do. Kind of make sure it's centered. Yeah, look at that. See? That worked out just, that was like just the right size. All right. Have to blur that out. But nonetheless, we got these little new guys protected here. You can see we have to kind of reset that one, but you see that, you know, they work for these wacky packages, erasers as well. Tell you what, let's try this out just so you can kind of see it from a different view. But nonetheless, I mean, these things are pretty great. I mean, you are going to have to remember you are individualizing these things. So you're going to have a little bit of extra room to store them. But it's not that bad. I'll show you, for example, we've got several. See, that's a nice one. Just put that guy there. Yep. And then you can see it from... Yep. Just kind of sandwiches around it. Makes for a nice little floating display. Go ahead and switch that back so you can kind of see. I do have some others, but I have a bunch of these laying around that I use for things. I tell you what we'll do here is I'll kind of show you what I do with them. So everybody kind of does their own thing, obviously. I'm not going to be able to really see this that way, so let's go ahead and switch to this. So I have, you know, your standard kind of card storage box. And look at that, that's just right. And with a little bit of foam down on the bottom, you can actually store these guys so that they sit perfectly in this case. I don't know about you, but I kind of follow the whole... I don't like my cards to be in light. I don't like them to be... I want them to get damaged in any way. So I always make sure they're kind of well hidden from things like that. And I do like that these boxes are also covered in foam so that they won't really jostle around. Now I did find, I am looking for like a little bit of a better solution. This is just what I happen to do with them, because they ended up being just a little bit too deep. That's why I had to put some foam under the bottom. And I would like, look at that, a little bit of sticking out on that one. But I would like a little bit of an easier way. But this keeps them, you know, protected, and I don't have to worry about them. These guys here, just slide forward to keep them from moving around. I'm sure that's that foam, right? Forgive me, I can't see, but I'm figuring it out. Here we go. You can see how they don't jostle around as much. Put that there. Keep those there. And then I have everything in its own little spot. Close it up and we put it away. But with that being said, you know, you can kind of come up with your own ways to store these things. As I am constantly, as I'm sure many of you out there do as well, I'm constantly changing the way I store my cards and all my collectibles. These just happen to be the way that I found I was going to do these. But it's a fun little way to make sure that they stay protected and that you make sure that they're not getting all kinds of like dust and things on them. And they're actually not that bad looking. So for those of you that use like the glass cases and things like that, you know, when you get the stand, it's going to actually make them sit kind of like this. You just kind of have to reshape it, which, as you can imagine, will look pretty nice on a shelf. Also, don't forget, they have multiple colors and shapes to include like a longer rectile. So you had a you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can get the longer ones, but it'll kind of, you know, sit like that. And it's a nice way to show it off, and at the same time, not have to worry about, you know, dust and things like that getting on it. But that being said, I hope you know, find a use for these, or if not, I hope you enjoyed just seeing how I do mine, and have yourself a wonderful day. But please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help the channel. Take care. Bye.